open the reorganization meeting. If everyone will stand to say the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order is to swear in the newly or re-elected board members. And as I swore in Harrington earlier today, it will now be Gordon Kroc and Paul Steinle. You're welcome to read that simultaneously.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
I, Paul Steinle,
Gordon Kroc,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education member of the Amherst Central School District according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
And if you would please sign that and return that to me. Thank you. Our next order of business is to elect board officers, and the floor is now open for nominations for president of the Board of Education.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Paul Steinle for president.
I'll second. Are there any other nominations? No, you seconded it, so that's good. Okay, so we have a nomination for Paul Steinle to be president of the Board of Education. I will need a motion to elect him as president.
I'll make a motion.
Jessica
I'll
and
second
Gordon. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. The floor is now open for nominations for vice president of the Board of Education.
I'd like to nominate Jessica McLaughlin as vice president. I'll second.
Thank you. A motion, so now we have vice president nomination for Jessica McLaughlin, and a motion is needed to elect her as vice president of the Board of Education.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Very good, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Will Paul and Jessica please stand to take the oath of office? And again, you can say these simultaneously if you want. Sorry,
I, Paul
Jessica
Steinle,
McLaughlin,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Board of Education President of the Amherst Central School District according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Thank you. If you could both sign and hand that to me. And then the board president, Paul Steinle, is now in charge of the remainder of this meeting. Thank you.
All right, we will need a motion to approve the following reorganization item D, appointments, bonding, designations, authorizations, and other items. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve items E through L.
Do we have a second? All right. Any discussion? All in favor of approving reorganization item D, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. I will now need to administer an oath to Debbie Custodi, Laura Bazinski, and Richard Foley in their respective roles as district clerk, acting clerk in absence of the district clerk, and deputy claims auditor.
She's not here. It's yours. It's yours. Ready? I, Deborah Bazinski, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
acting clerk
District Clerk, one second, of the Everett Central School District according to the best of my abilities, so help me God. And then we all need to sign it, and then Mr. Simon will need to sign it as president. Thank you. Thank you.
So at this time, the reorganization portion of this meeting is adjourned and the regular session begins. This new thing, are we does this follow the same
It
orders
does.
before? So do we have any visitors wishing to sign in?
No, we do not.
Okay. Then we have our Board of Education protocol for the 2024-25 school year. I assume we've all seen it before, it hasn't changed. Anybody have any questions, discussion, anything about it? It's a good guide for us to follow. This facility, it's right on our website too, right? The board site?
Yes.
It's linked to our board docs right here.
There you go.
But yes, it does. I didn't put the new one yet in case there were any changes. But right now, it's identical to last year's unless there's any recommendation.
Okay. We should have asked, do we have any board or committee reports since our last meeting in June? Okay, then we will go right into the superintendent's report. That's you.
Just trying to follow along.
That was a little different.
So we have one item on the superintendent's report. I'd like to welcome our internal claims auditor, Richard Foley, for his annual update to the board. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Tonight, I'm going to give you an overview of the role of claims auditor, the review process, the things I look for, and a summary of findings of the last school year. Whoops. I should start. Okay, the claims auditor. Claims auditor is an annual appointment by the Board of Education. It's a mandate by the state of New York. According to its education law, school districts require all claims to be audited prior to payment. Now, why did they do that? Well, to detect fraud. What I did is I went on the Erie County District Attorney's website. I wanted to see how prevalent fraud is in Erie County as far as larceny. And I came up with some cases here, prosecutions. Here's one: office manager pleads guilty to felony charge for stealing more than $700,000 from the former employer. Ex-employee pleads guilty for stealing $465,000 from a church. This is in Erie County. Former bookkeeper receives probation for stealing more than $162,000 from a Williamsville medical office. Employee arraigned for stealing more than $216,000 in cash from the Erie County clerk's office. That's just from February to June, so it's about 1 a month in Erie County. A few years ago, when I was auditing, the district received a fake invoice from a company out of Las Vegas. The Las Vegas address. That's a red flag right there. Anything with a Las Vegas address, you got to check into. This actually was on the news a few years ago, and I don't know if they ever caught the people that did that. But this is what we're trying to deter: is fraud larceny with taxpayers' money. So the claims auditor was established. What does the claims auditor do? Claims auditor reviews all the claims prior to payment. Claims auditor makes sure that the claim has proper authorization and documentation, that the purchase order matches the goods and services that were received. A purchase order is the initial approval document used to procure a good or service that is to be paid with district funds. And the PO is prepared using the district's financial software, which is called WCAP. And the PO lists the vendor, the description of the items to be purchased, the amount, the quantity, and the budget expense code that it's going to go against. Claims auditor verifies mathematical accuracy of invoices and confirms that goods and services were actually received or completed. For example, what we look for are packing slips and signatures that confirm that delivery was made of the product. Every expenditure should be approved by the purchasing agent or a person of authority before the purchase, not after the purchase. But occasionally, it'll be an emergency situation where you need to purchase something very quickly, you need a part for a hot water tank or something like that. So you have to go to Home Depot and buy something really quick. So those are emergency situations where your purchase orders are prepared after invoices are received. So checks are cut every 2 weeks in this district, and the day before they're cut, I come in and I review the claims for those checks that are to be printed. And I have a checklist of things that I look at to verify that the claims are legitimate. One thing is that the claim has proper authorization and supporting documentation. Purchase order matches the goods or services received. The purchase order exceeds the invoice paid, verify mathematical accuracy. And confirm the goods and services were actually received. Sales tax is excluded for the school districts, so I make sure there's no sales tax included in the invoice. Expenditures comply with board policies. Examples are conference reimbursements, meals, and auto expenses. Go to a conference, alcoholic beverages will not be reimbursed. That's an example of board policy. This one's very important, that checks are issued in sequential order. Beginning check number in the last check order, the current check order is sequential, the last check number in the previous check order. So if there's a gap, it has to be investigated. We don't want anybody cutting checks fraudulently. If there was a gap, that's a possibility that someone cut a check. So that's an important thing to do. And claims auditor checks, make sure that the checks issued matches the payment schedule that was previously audited. In other words, when I audit the claims, I get a printout of checks that will be cut and the amounts and the name of the vendors. And I match that to the actual checks that were issued, and they should match up. Okay, and once a month, a claims auditor report is prepared for the Board of Education. There's one in your packet this evening. And that report contains the check register, which is called the warrant report. It lists the check numbers, the amounts, the vendor. And it also lists the confirming or the late purchase orders that are prepared after the invoice date. And it also lists any other findings that I may find from my last audit. Okay. So for the last school year, which ended June 30th, 24, I audited a total number of claims of 2,952, amounting to $33 million. there's three ways that vendors can get paid. Checks, electronic transfers, and Visa card payments. So as you can see, by far the most form is by checks. Mine is $25 million. Electronic transfers, very few, but a very high amount, $7 million. These are usually principal on your bonds, on capital projects, interest, New York State Retirement Fund contributions, 503B payments for retirees, and dental insurance. These all get paid electronic. And lastly, the district has a Visa card. We had 362 purchases, amounting to $159,000. And those Visa cards, I reconcile the actual credit card statements with the purchase orders. Visa cards require purchase orders as well. So I make sure that the credit card statements agrees with purchase orders, claims. So that nobody's just buying something really. Okay, so purchase order is a valid purchase order confirms that there's enough funds available in that budget code before you purchase it. If there isn't enough funds, your system software will kick out a flag. You will not be allowed to purchase that budget. So what needs to be done is a transfer of funds needs to be made from another fund into that fund where the purchase is coming from. So confirming purchase orders is a purchase order that's submitted after the invoice date. It circumvents the internal control process and should only be used in emergency situations. I've listed a list of confirming purchase orders for the last 5 years. And after 1920, they had 1.4% of 36 confirming purchase orders that dropped down into the mid-20s. It's called STIP. So we had 23 confirming purchase orders in the last school year. Inclusion, purchasing policies and procedures are being followed at an acceptable level. It's not perfect, but it's acceptable. We always try to work towards perfection. There's been no misappropriation of funds or any other critical issues that were found. The most common errors were simply clerical errors. And the most common ones listed were incorrect amount was entered in the accounts payable schedule. It's basically a typo made by the clerk. Incorrect budget code allocation and incorrect remittance address checks. Too. Sometimes vendors will change their mailing address, or they want the check mailed to a different address than their headquarters. So those are basically findings that I had for the past year. Recommendations, same as always, continue to keep staff informed and updated in the procurement policies and procedures, and of any changes in policies such as the IRS mileage rates, which change generally every calendar year. Reinforce the importance of timely purchase orders with staff. One other point I want to make, back to clerical errors. We had a slight increase in the number of errors past school year over prior years. The main reason for that is that there's been turnover in the accounts payable clerk position in the past year. 53 people since the beginning here. So that's the main reason for that. Okay, that's about it. I made it short. Any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Well, just, and I don't know whether you can answer this. It's just like, do private schools do they have a similar kind of claim auditing process, internal audit process?
Not by law. It's only pertains to public schools in every state since 2005. And that's because of a school district down on Long Island
Right.
that does millions of dollars. It's an actual movie about it. It's called Bad Education. It's streaming right now.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thank you for your support over the years.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Mr. Foley's last annual report with us as he's retiring, so thank you for your service to the district. And I know we appointed you as deputy claims auditor, so you can help us out in the event that we need it. But if not, then I wish you health and happiness in retirement, and thank you for your service.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure working in Amherst. Great staff, especially the business office, which I do all the time. So
Who doesn't love her?
yeah, right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all for the superintendent report.
All right. I will need a motion to approve regular business item P, new business, personnel, and financial items.
Make a motion to approve item P1. I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving regular business item P, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. I would like to welcome a new team member, Taylor Gould is out here.
Hi.
Could you stand and just tell us what you're doing and where you're going to be? So we.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Taylor Gould. I'm the new kindergarten teacher at Smallwood Elementary. And I'm very excited. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, welcome to the team.
Thank
We
you
look
so
forward
much.
to working with you.
Thank you. I look forward to working with all you as well.
Ms. Custodi, do we have any follow-up action items?
I do not.
All right, then we will need a motion to adjourn. What a, I don't know, is this a record? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, everybody, for coming.